Okay, we are wrapping this outline of video series in a nice little bow to talk about an event that broke the backs of many Americans and put a fire under the seats to get a new constitution. And I'm talking about Shays' Rebellion. So, the economic difficulties that continued to plague Americans throughout the 1780s were the source of growing social unrest. All through the summer of 1786, popular conventions and informal gatherings in several states demanded reform of the state administrators. That same summer, an uprising known as Shays' Rebellion took place in western Massachusetts. The leaders of Massachusetts were conservative, and rather than print currency to pay off the state's debts, they increased taxes that fell most heavily on farmers and the poor. Several Massachusetts farmers, many of them war veterans, were losing their farms through mortgage foreclosures and tax delinquencies. When the Massachusetts legislature adjourned in 1786 without providing the citizens with relief from high tax rates and debts, the western countries revolted. An armed mob began to stop foreclosures by forcibly preventing the courts from holding their sessions. Under the leadership of Daniel Shays, a farmer and former army captain, a group of nearly 1,200 disgruntled farmers marched to the federal arsenal at Springfield, Massachusetts. Shays' followers sought a more flexible money policy, suspension of property confiscations, and the right to postpone paying taxes until the Depression lifted. The Massachusetts authorities summoned troops and quickly put an end to the uprising. Daniel Shays was condemned to death but was later pardoned. When the next legislative came into session, the majority sympathized with the rebels and met some of their demands for debt relief. Thomas Jefferson commented from Paris, where he was serving as minister to France, that this was just a small uprising and that it was good for the health of the government. However, most did not agree with Jefferson's position and instead were of the same mind as the usually unexcitable George Washington, who felt that the country was on the verge of anarchy. So, Jefferson thought this was fine. Jefferson, fine. This is totally fine. Nothing to worry about. Washington, anarchy. Anarchy is fleeing our streets. So is it time for a change? The conditions of the new nations, including domestic problems, a strong concern for property rights, economic depression, lack of commercial control, and Shays' rebellion were troubling and led to discussions about the need for a stronger central government. So the Articles of Confederation were not working anymore because all of these problems surfaced. So Shays' rebellion, fine, anarchy, is it time? Is it time for change? Is it time for change? Because we see all of this happening, right? It's all happening at a relatively fast pace. So we see this shift starting to occur to the Articles of Confederation to the Constitution. Let's see if I can do this for you. I think I can. So the Articles of Confederation to the Constitution. I so want to do this for you. Yep, not gonna happen. See you guys in the next outline and video. Let me tell you what we are talking about next time. The Philadelphia Convention should be interesting. Stay tuned.